You're listening to Kicked Back, presented by Uber One. Uber One is a membership that lets you save across Uber Eats, Uber Rides, and everything in between. Enjoy unlimited $0 delivery fees, 5% off of Eats, 5% off of rides, and if you join Uber One today, you can get your first month free. Visit uber.com/Uber1 for details. Day 2 of World Cup action here on Kicked Back. We got Brett and Liam in the house. Caroline here with you guys. And Liam, I feel like I want to say happy birthday, Merry Christmas, because wow, what a day for English fans.
It was, do you know what? We probably shouldn't celebrate and be in Iran this heavily. But the one thing I do want to celebrate is the fact Gareth Southgate got out of his ways, put this team in a position to win, and they went out and did what all of us knew they could do with their attacking threats and absolutely dominated Iran.
Oh, you know what? I'm so happy for so many reasons. One, Gareth Southgate to me looks like this great uncle that I just want to be friends with and share a cup of tea and just tell life stories to. I'm happy for him. And I remember saying on this podcast, like, Liam, you were saying that you'd be happy with a 2-0 win if England got 2 goals in a game.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at a picture where this team scored 6 freaking goals, and Harry Kane wasn't even amongst the goal scorers. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really good to see. I was pretty worried about Harry Kane, to be honest, for a second there, where he, like, came out and rolled his ankle. That was a little frightening. But, yeah, like, Saka, redemption game. Yeah. After missing that penalty, it was really good to see him get back on that track for England. Rashford coming off the bench, 26 seconds, I think they said. Grealish. Did you guys hear the story about Grealish's celebration?
No.
So, Jack Grealish, he when he was at one of City's practices, he met this kid who, I can't remember exactly what his name was, but he was like, came to meet Jack. And they were talking, and he asked Grealish, he's like, when you score next, can you do a celebration for me? And he's like, yeah, like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, I want you to do the worm. And Grealish was like, I don't know if I can do the worm. So he didn't do the worm. And then the kid was like, okay, well, if you do this instead. And Grealish was like, yeah, I'll do it. So the next time he scored was this goal he scored today, and he did the celebration.
I love that.
So that's really cool. I love Jack Grealish. I think he has that thing with Miguel Almiron, that's his name, right? Where he, like, called him out. I can't remember exactly what it was, but besides that, I think he's an awesome guy, and he's a fantastic football player.
I agree, and he has the best hair, I'd say, in football.
Yeah.
And he doesn't wear shin guards. You can't convince me that this guy wears anything because in our group chat, I'm pretty sure Brett today put like the AirPods.
Yeah, it looks exactly like AirPods. That's in his socks.
Like there's absolutely no protection on his shins, but whatever. He did so well. Well, today I'm happy that he got off the bench and kind of was that impact player for England. And Jude Bellingham.
Oh, that was a good goal.
I'm so happy for him.
He played really well. He played really well pushing forward, which I wasn't expecting to see from him with England. I know he's capable of it, but just what I expected from this team. Like when we did that projected starting 11, I said England will play 2 in the midfield and 5 at the back. And luckily today they played 3 with Mason Mount, Rice, and Bellingham. And I thought Rice played really well too, as kind of like the sitter in the middle. But Bellingham, yeah, like, what is he? Is he 19?
19 years old.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. Him and Saka, like, you think about it. Saka, I believe, is 21. Then you have Bellingham, who's 19. Young guys.
Foden.
Yeah, Foden.
Even Declan Rice isn't. I don't think he's past his mid-20s. Right?
It's a nice balanced roster you guys have of experience and also young talent that's able to do the job. And we speak about Bellingham maybe should have getting that Copa trophy or the Golden Boy Award over Gavi. I think he should have, and I think he's proven that with Dortmund in the Bundesliga, in the Champions League, and now we're kind of seeing him do it on the international stage. Not only, scoring a goal, but scoring his first international goal, the first goal for England in the tournament. That's a huge monkey off everyone's back. For a 19-year-old to do that is simply amazing.
Yeah, he's a fantastic football player, and England have such a bright future. I think about that often, actually, with England, because every time we go into this tournament, my thought process is like, what if this is kind of the last run?
No.
But with this group, like a Harry Kane, like John Stones, those kind of guys, like, and by last run, I don't mean like, we'll never see Harry Kane at a World Cup, but like, will we see the strength of this team again in 4 years? And I think the answer is yes. Like a lot of like you said, like Grealish and Foden didn't even start today for England. There was so many other, like Tomori didn't even make the squad.
Yeah.
Trent Alexander-Arnold was sat on the bench. Aaron Ramsdale's 24 years old. Like, England have a pretty bright future, and there's a lot of other guys coming through in the Premier League too. But yeah, like you said off the top, like Harry Kane didn't even score a goal today, and England scored 6. So who got them? Saka got 2, Rashford got 1, Grealish got 1, Bellingham, and who am I missing? Sterling, who also is only like 26.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And like I feel like for
been around forever.
Rashford and Sterling, nice goals for them to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe a situation where they're like, okay, I've proven myself a little bit. Like, you know, that was a big goal for them to get off their back.
Yeah, especially Sterling is such an interesting case with England because he really isn't been great for Chelsea. He hasn't really been great in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. Now he's been very good. But when he shows up for England every single tournament, didn't he lead them the Euro scoring or whatever last time, and like was in the team of the tournament, and he just shows up, and he's just, for me, it's a case of Southgate. Like I spoke about it with Harry Maguire, and I'm sure we'll get to him in a second. But like, you have Maguire who shows up for England, Jordan Pickford shows up for England, Sterling shows up for England. Those 3 guys on squad form probably don't even deserve to be in the team.
So why does everyone shit on Gareth Southgate? Because clearly he's doing something right. In my notes, my first point on Harry Maguire is a good player. You can't convince me that he's a good player for England, and then when he goes to Manchester United, he's all of a sudden shit. That's a manager problem at that point, and that's what people need to start understanding. At Manchester United, he's under Ten Hag, and Ten Hag has his style and he has his tactics, and maybe Harry Maguire doesn't fit into them. But then he goes into this English squad, and now everyone's all of a sudden comparing Harry Maguire to Paolo Maldini and Nesta, and I'm like, this guy's a good player. He's just for some reason the most hated footballer, and everyone kind of jumps on that train. But Gareth Southgate's the one who's not getting enough credit.
I think it's a culture thing, and you look at the team like Manchester United have been. Just the culture's been a lot different, obviously, the last however long. But when you go to these, when you go to this England camp, it feels very positive. And I think that's something Southgate has brought into the team that a lot of other players haven't. A lot of other managers haven't. You look at the people before, like, who was it? Sven-Göran Eriksson had people like David Beckham, Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, Michael Owen, all these guys. Wayne Rooney, a young Wayne Rooney, couldn't get it done. Fabio Capello had all these other guys like John Terry in his prime, Lampard, Gerrard, the list goes on. And then eventually you get to Southgate, who isn't this like massive established world manager. Like he managed at Middlesbrough. Pretty sure he got them relegated, to be honest. And he managed the England under 21s. I can't remember if he won, but he definitely went to a final with them. But he just knows how to build a good camp at the international level. And that's what I think gives England so much success, is that when they get there, it doesn't matter what team you play for, how well you've been playing, what's happened in the past. Like, you're in an England shirt and we are one team now. Yeah. And that's what matters. And that's why I love Southgate. And I think that's one thing he just doesn't get enough credit for.
Well, you're absolutely right, Liam. And I remember on one of our prediction shows, I was, maybe questioning Southgate and him saying, well, our new center backs and our younger center backs haven't done enough to push our old ones out. Basically referencing Tomori and Harry Maguire.
Yep.
And I was like, man, like maybe Harry Maguire, based on everything that's happening and all of the drama and all of the negative attention, will he be the weak link for this England team, and will he get exposed? Today, his performance, if he can keep that consistently going in this World Cup, he's going to have a career tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, he did so well. Like I said on one show, I said Gareth Southgate has had Harry Maguire's back, and now Harry Maguire really has to kind of have Southgate's back. And by doing that is having these good performances. Today, first of all, there should have been a penalty kick called when he was taken down in the box. It's crazy to me that Iran got a penalty for a shirt pull, and Harry Maguire got bulldozed by a player with the player's arms were fully wrapped around his body. He had an assist, and I think he had a solid performance. We know that he came off the field because he was sick.
Yeah, he was ill. I wonder if that was a heat thing.
Yeah, I wonder.
It must have been. I'm glad it wasn't a concussion thing.
Yeah, me too. I was worried.
I'm glad I'm assuming it was just a heat thing, hopefully. I mean, like you said, like, he played so well. The goal, I think, could have just been better coverage from him, but also John Stones, too. I think that was just kind of like both of them mistake.
Yeah.
Also, what was it, 4-0 at that point? Like Southgate made a quote, and I quote tweeted, and I completely agree with him. He's like, today was really good, and it's great that we scored 6 goals, but we shouldn't be conceding 2. And
which I love.
Yeah, and I quote tweeted him, and I said he's completely right. Like, and the 2 goals that happened, I think, were just mistakes of not being fully engaged. And I think if England were in, say England were in a 1-0 game against France, for example, I think it would have been a lot tighter for England defensively. And you just kind of let things slip once in a while. And I know you don't want to have that happen, and you want to be engaged for 90 minutes. Or what was it today? There was 14 minutes of added, 24 minutes of added time. I actually counted this up. 57 minutes of added time so far in the World Cup.
It's nuts.
That's 4 games. That is unbelievable.
At that point, so when the Iran goalkeeper went down, I was like, I felt bad for him because that was a brutal situation that happened. But I'm like, get him off the field. I know. That's what I thought too. I couldn't believe they let him keep playing. I agree. I'm like, get him off the field. We need to keep the pace of the game going. I actually felt bad for England and even the Iran players because I was like, the whole momentum's gone. Yeah. Like your muscles start getting tight. Everything's gone at that point, and you're almost just like, okay, what's going on? I felt bad for the goalkeeper, but yeah, that was insane. Like that, I've never seen that. No, I haven't either. And so I get obviously the first half one. It makes sense, like the added time, but then there was 10 minutes right at the end of the other one. Like, why? What do we like? The VAR wasn't that long. Like, it feels like I know they now have that chip in the ball, which is why that goal was called offside for Ecuador, and not because they paid anyone. And I wonder if they're doing. I wonder if there's someone now off the field telling them how much added time needs to be added. Yeah. Like, I wonder, because it just seems outrageous. Someone's just picking random numbers at this point. Yeah. So I got up this morning, and my girlfriend got up with me too, eventually. And we were watching the game, and I told her what happened. So she missed that part. Luckily for her, she didn't get to watch the guy laying on the ground for 10 minutes. And I was like, yeah, they probably stopped the game for about 12 minutes, but I bet they only do like 6 or 7 minutes just stoppage time, and then bang, 14 minutes. Crazy. It was, I couldn't believe it. But back to your Southgate point about him saying that he was happy that they won 6-2, but they shouldn't have conceded 2 goals. That's such a good perspective to have. Like, if I'm an English fan, I'm hearing that, I'm like, man, we're being coached right now by a rock solid dude, because there is many positives from that game, but it's still the first game in a pretty tough group. And Gareth Southgate's going to go back to the drawing board and be like, how do we eliminate these 2 goals? Because come USA, come Wales, we can't let that happen. So I was happy to hear that from Gareth Southgate, and I think that you guys are in a really good position, because this was also your first game. Yeah. This is going to happen. I mean, we saw the Netherlands today, which we'll get to in a moment. A team that everyone thought would just easily get at the top of this group really struggle. But these are the first games of the group, right? Like, these things are going to happen. It's going to happen. And we'll get to the Netherlands and Senegal pretty quick here. I won't linger on England too long for everyone listening. My dad called me out on that, actually. About what? He's like, you talk about England a lot on your podcast. I was like, I'm proud. Aw, you should be. Don't worry. When Poland plays Mexico tomorrow, we'll have a nice little bit on Poland, and hopefully not me crying. So this is the quote from Southgate after the match. He said, I'm very happy, but we shouldn't be conceding 2 goals. It's a great start, but we have to be better. And then he says, I am a miserable so-and-so. Oh. Like, he was just joking, but he's just like, it's just funny. It's like, yeah, you beat a team 6-2. But also at the last World Cup, they beat Panama 6-0. Yeah. So there you go. You kind of lost your momentum on that one, I suppose. But I was just wanting to say quickly, it should have been 6-3. But Jordan Pickford made that really good save to push it onto the bar. And it was actually funny. I'll find his name, because he said, he was the gentleman who tweeted at us asking us to do the Twitter space. He's so nice, by the way. Hello, kind sir. David Teskew on Twitter. What's up, David? He tweeted me, and it's funny. I put a little Bolton thing in there too. And he was like, I think, let me find exactly what he said, because I don't want to mess it up. But he basically said that, here it is. So he said, watch Pickford's face every time he concedes a goal. You feel bad for him. He looks like a toddler about to throw a tantrum. It's a not phenomenal display by England today. They look very dominant. And then he went on to say, I hope we don't see that very often. And he said, I would start Southgate, but I understand. I would start Ramsdale, but I understand Southgate's loyalty to this guy. And I said, Aaron Ramsdale may be a former Bolton Wanderers Academy player, but I don't believe in him for England like I do for Pickford. And then immediately after Jordan Pickford made that save to push it onto the bar, I was like, great time in picks. But honestly, every time now he has a good game, I think of you. But did notice how almost, I think theatrical might be the word, is when he makes a big save or he's talking to his team, it looks slightly aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, there was even one moment in time, I think he realized how much he was waving his hands that he caught himself mid-wave of anger, I don't know, or intensity, and he kind of put his hands back down. But I'm like, this guy's in the moment. But you need that from a goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's a Geordie.
Yeah.
He's from up north in England.
Yeah.
That's what they're all got that aggressive side to them. It's funny, actually. I watched I watched a 17-minute video on an England players arriving to St. James's in England where they practice. Is it called St. George's or St. James's?
I'm pretty sure it's St. James.
Okay, either way, their training facility. And all of them come in with like smiles on their face, and Jordan Pickford just like pissed to be there. It was
Love it.
so funny.
Quickly, before we move on from England, Brett, you were saying that Harry Maguire before the game was just loving his life, chilling, doing some fun stuff on the pitch. Is that
Harry Maguire? Oh my goodness, this guy actually looked like Maradona.
I love it.
His juicy little round the world too.
Yeah.
Oh, it was he was having fun, but at the same time, it translated into the game. Because it's loosey goosey, but at the same time, I think he sees his confidence starting to come up here.
And that's exactly what I wanted to mention is if he's like that in the warm-up, it absolutely translated into the match. And that's the biggest takeaway for me for Maguire after this game against Iran was not only his performance, but now he has the confidence that he knows he can have a solid performance. He knows he can assist. He should have had a couple headers today. He could have had a couple goals. Yeah, he hit the post or the crossbar. So that's what makes me so happy is to see him kind of in the moment, still having fun, being chilled out before a World Cup game, which is never easy, especially being Harry Maguire, where if you make one little mistake, meme nation is coming out after you. So I was happy to see that. And I'm happy because I was like, is this guy going to be the weak link? If he keeps playing like he did today, I'm really hoping he has a really good tournament.
It just shows, again, the camp environment that Southgate has brought in for England, and it's beneficial.
And you've been saying this, Liam. You've been Team Southgate.
Yeah.
I respect that about you. You never, I don't know what the word.
Never sway from my opinion.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I believe. I'm a believer. Who do England have next? Let's jump into that really. Oh, the U.S. They play the U.S. on Friday.
They play them on Friday. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, let's actually go into the U.S. versus Wales if we're going to talk. The U.S. played a solid freaking first half of football today. So much so that that Wales was like completely taken out of that match. I know a lot of people are shitting on the U.S. right now, saying this is the worst team or whatever. I actually completely disagree. I think this is one of the best teams we've seen them have in a very long time. We've talked about it on our show, Liam. Very young generational talents, playing on really good teams and big clubs and good leagues. So I just was really excited to see this team, and they really put together a nice 45 minutes of football. Second half, Wales came out in a completely different way, and they took over the game. And I think their first half performance was almost overshadowed by Bale's goal, his first World Cup goal ever, which is insane, and Wales's first World Cup goal in 64 freaking years. So massive moment for them. But U.S.
4 years.
Yeah, since 1950.
I was trying to figure that out in my head. 1958. What year are we in? Yeah, 58.
Yeah.
1958.
So quick maths on this show. I'm always scared to do that. But yeah, I don't know. The U.S. kind of shot themselves in the foot because Zimmerman had a nasty challenge.
Okay.
Nasty.
Can we discuss this?
Wait, do you think it wasn't a penalty?
No, I cannot believe
That he did that?
the stuff I saw on Twitter.
What did you see on Twitter?
Well, first of all, what I saw on the pitch was the U.S. players complaining.
There's
How?
Zimmerman, as soon as he made that challenge, he's like, that was nothing. That was nothing. I'm like, yo, you absolutely took his legs out from behind. That's like textbook. Like, you should have got a red.
He should.
Honest to God, he
didn't
should have
get
got a red.
anything.
He didn't
get
anything. anything.
No,
He's
looking
so
at the
lucky.
official sheet, he got nothing.
I couldn't. It was their striker, Wright, I think his name was, with like asking the ref to look at VAR. For what? For what? What are we
Honestly.
looking for here? NBC. NBC Soccer.
An actual news outlet.
A news outlet
No.
tweeted this. You make the call, and then was this a foul? I won't show the camera, but Caroline, that's the picture.
Honest to God, I watched it live.
I couldn't believe it.
You guys know I have the U.S. getting out of this group, so the entire game I'm like, F yeah. Like I'm this solid performance by the U.S. And then Zimmerman did that. I'm like, what the flying F was that? I don't need replay. I don't need VAR. I don't need slow-mo. That immediately to me was a penalty and a red card.
Yes.
Like it was blatant.
Yes, it was a card and penalty at the least.
I don't know.
I quote tweeted them and said, "Is the sky blue?"
Honestly, can pigs fly?
Oh my god, I could not believe.
Wait, you tweeted at them?
I quote tweeted.
I love your spicy Twitter personality.
I couldn't believe it, and just the amount of people that were complaining about it is like, if you never watched this sport before, like you can't even step on someone's toe anymore without getting a penalty, and you think you're gonna get away with that? It was just, it was unbelievable. But on the flip side for Wales, like, what a celebration! Unbelievable. That was awesome to see, and that was like an all-time like World Cup moment.
Yeah,
that I was just gonna say that, like, when they make the DVD for this World Cup, that'll be on there.
It was so sick watching Bale go up to that like penalty spot, because you know this guy's clutch in these moments. This guy handles pressure like nobody's business, and he took like a couple of deep breaths, and I was like, yo, he's in the moment, and they absolutely nailed that. And I was like, no better guy to have that moment than Gareth Bale. And also massive credit to this Wales team, because the first 45 minutes of the game looked much different than the second 45 minutes. And I don't think it's always easy when you're down a goal in the first half and you're playing a good opposition like the U.S. to come out and try and completely dominate that second half. And Wales did that. I was really impressed by both teams today almost. None of them had a complete performance, and that's why the game ended up the way it did. But the U.S., I think the U.S. and England's going to be a good game. What I will say about the U.S. is a lot of their players who played really well in the first half were completely gassed in the second half. Like nothing in their engine. And I'm like, what's the heat? I know is a factor, but you'd think that a team like the U.S., who's so well known for their athleticism, would be prepared for something like that. So I was very surprised with that.
Yeah, it will be interesting, England versus the U.S. Mm-hmm. I think the difference between England and Wales is obviously England just has a bit more firepower. And I think Wales is just maybe not a difference between them, but also Wales just plays a very collective, like us against the world kind of thing. Like they know they don't have a lot of great talent. They obviously have Bale, Ramsey's had a good career. Harry Wilson I thought was pretty solid today. Kiefer Moore. They have a lot of guys who are just going to punch you in the gut. Yeah. And that's how they're going to try and win football games. And that's why I was fairly worried when we got drawn against them. Like, ugh, another one, like another host of Four Nations team. We had Scotland in the last one. We had Wales in the Euros before that. I'm pretty sure we've played Republic of Ireland in one of these in a group stage once or twice before too. And it's just not the same. It's not like, oh, the 5th ranked team in the world versus the 40th, whatever Wales are. It's like, no, they get up for this games. And I'm excited. I think this group as a whole is good. Iran, we did not see the best Iran today. I think like they do capitalize on their chances. I'll give them that. They had basically 2 in that England. I guess 3. Pickford saved one like we spoke about, and they got the goals to do it. Now I'm curious to see what happens when they do play a US or a Wales, where it's a bit more level playing field and they can go and get them. Because I know Brett has them coming out of the group. I wouldn't bank on that being over yet. I know it's only one game, but I don't think we saw the best Iran today.
Well, you said like they scored the 2 goals, and if it is a 1-goal game, whatever, that is a very important thing. And as well, if the States are going to stay undisciplined too, 2 goals is going to be almost insurmountable if you only have 10 guys.
So Brett brought up a good point today. I remember the first half, there were like so many yellows given out towards the U.S. Mm-hmm. And Brett told me right before we started recording the podcast how many yellows were given to the U.S.
4.
4 total. Yeah, that's a lot when you're because if you get a yellow one game and a yellow the next, you're missing your third, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, actually I was asked about that today. So I know if you get 2 in the group stage, you would miss the next one.
Yes, you would.
But I wonder, I don't know if you have 1 if it gets erased after the group stage. Like
no, it does. It does
okay, that's what I wondered.
But still, like these are things that these were big guys who are getting these yellow cards. Like Dest got 1, which I didn't think had the best performance today at all.
Do you have it up there, bro?
Yeah, it was Serginho Dest got the first one, the 11th minute. Weston McKennie 2 minutes
Another
later in the 13th. Tim Ream in the 51st, and then Callan Acosta in the 100th minute.
Yeah,
so.
like these are things that you
This
talk
game
about.
did not go to extra time, people.
You talk about
Unbelievable.
discipline, Brett. That's exactly that. 4 yellows in your first game. Like, you have to be on it when you play a team like England now and US-Iran next. But also another thing, 1 shot on target for the US, 1 goal. Where is their attack? And we saw Weah have a great goal. I think a great performance overall today. He had that one really nice ball in. Liam, I don't know if you saw it. It was in the first half, but he crossed the ball in, and the Wales defender hit it off of his head, like almost right at his goal.
Oh,
He
I
almost
missed that
scored.
one.
Yeah.
I did a live show, people, for 30 minutes of the
Liam
first
is
game.
a jack of all trades and does everything for the Nation Network, so he can't watch every second.
I squeeze him in.
But yeah, I think Weah did really well. But other than that, I mean, who's their number 9? Like they said, Josie Altidore is no longer in the squad. Who's the guy who finishes these moments for them?
Well, that's the thing we said before when they announced the squad. Like, there's guys who I think are capable of it. Like, I think I said his name before. Wright? Is his first name Haji
Wright?
Yeah, he's a good player. Weah got the goal. Like, they're expecting a bit more from Pulisic, I think, with goals in his tournament. Like, Gio Reyna should probably contribute a little bit too. But then, what's that? I should have remembered his name if I'm going on a little speech right. Ricardo Pepe, right?
Ricardo Pepe, yeah.
He was second in the team in qualifying goals. I know he got 3. He got 3, I believe, 2 in one game, but he's also scored.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem with this team. Like, they just don't have that natural finisher. And that's why a team like Wales, I think, is going to get ahead of them in the group because they have the X factor in Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
And also, Kiefer Moore is a different kind of player. And he causes problems. And I think he did that a lot in this game from what I saw. I'm not saying he's going to lead this tournament in goals, but he probably can chip in with 1 or 2. They have a target man. That's what the US is missing. And it's a shame. It's a real big shame because they have so much talent on this squad. That midfield is fantastic.
I mean, okay, I know everyone likes to shit on Pulisic, and Brett and I were talking about this before the show, but he had a good game today. He was everywhere on the field. He was making so much chaos on the ball, off the ball, really good passes, keeping them in possession. This guy works hard, and at the end of the day, I would rather have like the hardest working player who maybe doesn't have his best game than the most talented player who isn't moving his feet. And I think that there is a lot of talent in Pulisic, but he also works hard. You saw that today in the game against Wales, but yeah, you're missing you're missing a Harry Kane on this English team. You're missing, again, for an American example, a Josie Altidore who's clinical in goal scoring. So that's kind of a tough pill for them to swallow. But Berhalter, you mentioned, Brett, doesn't like playing an attacking style of football, that he was previously sacked at his former coaching position because of his lack of attacking style of football. He needs to go home today or to his like Qatar hotel room and say, well, who the fuck am I? Sorry. Who the hell? Sorry. Who the hell am I bringing in to fill this position? And maybe who am I changing around on the field to give someone that number 9 role? Because it's critical at this point.
I would say, so today they started Sargent, who plays for Norwich. He wasn't very good in the Premier League this season. He has 9 goals in 19 games for Norwich this season, which is good for them, I suppose. But he's also at a lower level now, so he should probably be scoring more goals. Just looking at the bench, like, is Morris the option? He had 7 goals in the MLS this season. Not great. Haji Wright, playing in Turkey, 9 goals, 12 games. That's probably a guy you've got to turn to. He did come on in the 74th minute. I don't know. Like, or do you even not play with a striker? Now, that sounds crazy, but what if you play almost like a Liverpool style where you have, like, let's say you put Weah in the middle and you have Aronson on the wing instead. And then you just kind of have Weah kind of sit a little deeper, kind of like Firmino a little bit, and then get into the box on the attack when the wide men have the ball. He would have to be the hardest working man in the field. Maybe Pulisic is the guy that can do it. And if we're just talking about how hard he works, maybe that's something they can kind of do. Because you look at this team, like the midfield, McKennie, Adams, Joshua Musa. Sorry, not Joshua Musa. Unus Musa. Yeah, I
Played
don't know.
so
why I said
well the
Joshua.
first half, by the way.
Yeah, and then also guys coming off the bench, like Aronson came off the bench, Wright came off the bench. This team has attacking threats. They just have no one to finish these attacks.
You know what? I think Brendan Aronson came on pretty late into the game. I was surprised by that, actually.
66 minutes.
Yeah, like, I'd have liked to see him a little earlier, so maybe that's something that they need to consider. But this is, again, the criticism to Berhalter is that he's stuck in his ways with his systems and his tactics, and he refuses to put his players in different positions. Like, I wonder if he goes back home and he's like, okay, we need to sort things around.
To give you an example of a manager adjusting to what he has in his team, today Wales played Dan James as their lone striker or centre forward, and he's a winger.
Yeah.
But that's what they have. They don't have a lot of guys to pick from. I've seen Bale play there for Wales. Like, they just kind of put guys wherever. There's another guy here, Ethan Amadou, who's a centre back. He played centre mid for them today.
Yeah.
Like, you play
that's
with
what
what
you
you've
gotta
got.
do.
You play with what you've got. Ben Davies is also a left back, played left centre back today.
Yeah. I
Oh,
remember
I-
Mourinho once was criticized because I forget for what team he was playing with. He constantly played the counter. And the media asked him about it. They said, when we watch your team play, it's the most boring game. He's like, but it works. He's like, I get the job done. And sometimes you have to play an ugly style of football against teams that you know this is going to succeed against, and it works for us. And it's not always going to be pretty, but it does the job. And that to me is a coach. Like, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be an insane, high-scoring game. We're probably not going to be saying the best things about the game or probably staying awake during the whole thing. But they get the result. They get the points.
Yeah. I guess before we move on to Senegal and the Netherlands, I went back and looked at the 1958 World Cup whilst we were kind of chatting there. So Wales finished second in their group, drew all 3 games. So Wales has been to in 4 World Cup group games and drawn all 4 of them. They did have the lead late in the Mexico game until Belmonte scored for Wales. They lost 1-0 in the quarterfinals to Brazil. And Brazil went on to win their first World Cup that year.
Crazy.
Anyone want to guess who scored the goal in 1958 for Brazil? I'll give you a clue. He's regarded as the best player
I was about to say, it has to
ever.
be Pele.
It was Pele. Pele scored, and then he scored 3 against France in the semi-final. Then he scored 2 against Sweden in the final. Finished the tournament with 6 goals. By my calculations,
Quick math.
he scored all 6 goals in the knockout stages. So Brazil scored 5 goals in... Wow, holy smokes. Brazil didn't concede a goal till the semi-final that year.
So
Kinda
you're
crazy.
saying if Wales beats England or Iran, this is their first World Cup win.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. I was actually... Do you know how I always bring up that stat? It's like, oh, New Zealand's the only team to
Yeah.
never lose a game. I actually thought I was wrong the whole time when I looked and saw, like, oh, Wales drew 3 games. I've just been lying to everyone. However, they did lose to Brazil, so it stands pat.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
hopefully New Zealand never make it back, or if they do, they just get 3 more draws, so I can keep the stat alive.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, I think that actually the group that England's in, which is what, Group B?
Yep.
Low key group of death. Low key.
Only,
Spicy.
I think I said this on the predictions. The only group where all 4 teams are in the top 20 of the world rankings.
Yeah,
Pretty
no.
good. It is an under the radar group, I think.
Yeah, and you mentioned today quickly that Iran didn't have the best performance, but I think it's because England played so well once Jude Bellingham scored that goal. Really kind of started to propel things for you
Yeah.
guys. That's what took Iran out of the game.
Yeah.
You guys are scary. When I was watching the game today, I was like, England's going to be a scary good team. If you can keep it consistently going, like potential to win.
That might be one of the best England games I've seen
Yeah.
in a long, long time. And I know it's Iran, and I don't want to get too carried away with it, but it's very assuring, I guess, to know that they do have the ability to go and do it. And like we said, like 2 of the guys that these are the guys that came off the bench. Grealish, Rashford, Foden, and Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
And Eric Dyer, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's dangerous team. Very dangerous team.
But also, a lot of people have Iran as their dark horse or coming out of the group. So, yeah,
Iran beat someone. Oh, there it is. They beat Uruguay in a warm-up game. I knew they had like a big win. I'm not sure if Uruguay played a pretty decent team too. Valverde played, Nunes played, Suarez played. Like, good squad. Iran, I don't let this defeat kind of dictate who they are. I think they are a good team. And I think we all kind of knew England were going to beat them anyway, not
Yeah.
to kind of get carried away. 6-2, what did I say yesterday?
Small flex.
3-0? Yeah. So I think it'll be fine. Excited for the other games. So yeah, England, USA next, which you said was Friday at noon. And then they have, I won't even be able to go on the show to talk about England. I won't be here Friday, folks. Sorry, everyone.
Well, we need your take.
Maybe I'll pre-record it.
Pre-record something or send us like an MP4 that we can add into the pod.
I'll do it on my drive.
Please. That'd actually be hilarious. You should.
You could call me and get me on a little screen here.
Could
We'll
we do
figure it
that?
out.
We should do that.
We
It'd be
could
so
do
funny.
that. Yeah.
Call Liam, our insider.
Yeah, I know. Tell you on the road to Prince Albert how things are
Please.
going.
As long as you're driving safely.
Yes.
Yeah, no texting and driving, kids. Last game on game day 2 of the World Cup, Senegal and Netherlands. And for me, a game personally that when you see 2-0 Netherlands, it doesn't properly depict how the game actually went. I think Senegal dominated this game.
I think they deserve to win
Absolutely.
until they didn't, if
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I can see what you're saying there.
That Holland had so many chances. Like Frankie de Jong.
Yo, can we
Oh.
talk about that?
Let's talk about it, and then we'll talk about his redemption arc.
Yeah,
which-
yeah.
which
I was
quickly
praying
came
for
around.
that.
But man, what are you doing? Everybody in the world knows what you're supposed to do in that situation, and it is nothing what you did.
A player of his caliber and expectation, I mean, the bare minimum is shooting the ball.
Yes.
Bare minimum is shooting the ball, getting it on target.
Miss a net.
His
rather
caliber and
he did that.
expectation is in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And there was none of what I just listed above happening in reality.
I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked. Also, I'm more shocked that this app that I'm using gave him man of the match. So
Well, okay, because then we talk about his redemption tour.
Yeah.
That ball he played in for that first goal for the Netherlands was actually like masterclass.
it was world class.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the Frankie de Jong we
Yes.
sit and watch and see.
Yep.
And the ball, the chemistry between him and Gakpo.
Yeah, your boy.
Oh, Cody Gapko. I know it's not even like that spicy of like, look out for this guy. And I'm pretty sure he won like the Dutch Player of the Year or something. So it's not like someone who's like out there. But if you haven't seen this kid before, like he put himself on the map today. Like just the ball, the run he made to like find the gap, and then great header. Now, I tweeted that I thought Mendy could have done better on that goal. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had a great game even before he allowed those 2 goals. There was just some things he did that were like a bit iffy. And I think he really let him down. But yeah, just I guess back on the Holland thing. De Ligt, I don't think he was great. What did he do? Just kick people all game?
Yo.
Like how did he's going to get a red card.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I forgot to put that in my notes, but I was watching and I'm like, if I was playing against that guy, I would absolutely secretly throttle him. I'd be like, lay off. You're going to injure me. This is the World Cup. Tackle for a ball, because the commentators are like, oh, De Ligt will never, not go in for a tackle. I'm like, there's a tackle and there's wanting to take your legs out.
Yeah.
That's De Ligt. Like, he needs to be careful because he could get a red.
100%.
And I won't feel bad for him.
No, me neither. I'm just looking it up here just out of curiosity. So De Ligt committed 4 fouls in the game, was fouled once, and ground duels 1 out of 6. He's so overrated.
Yeah.
He's a very good football player, don't get me wrong. I cannot believe he won that Young Player of the Year award when Ajax went on that run. Like, I get it. Ajax was a Cinderella story. He was a big part of it, and he did play very well in that Champions League run, to his credit. But man, like this guy, he went to Juventus, did nothing. Now he's at Bayern Munich. I believe he's been hurt a bit this year, right? Also, besides that, he's done nothing. Now he's at the World Cup and just kicking people around who, no disrespect, half these guys I haven't even heard of before, and you have to kick them because you can't get the ball off them. It's like, so Ismail Sarr plays for Watford in the Championship, and he made De Ligt look brutal today. Absolutely brutal. And Sarr is a Premier League caliber player, don't get me wrong, but De Ligt is supposed to be this world-class defender, and he can't contain a guy who plays for Watford in the Championship. Come on.
De Ligt did get a red card as well in the Euros as well. It was for a handball, but also undisciplined.
Still.
Surprise,
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep an eye out on him. But I also think that if Sadio Mane was on this Senegal team, this game would have looked a lot different. I think that they were missing him in a lot of ways, especially in goal scoring. We know that you need to score goals to win these games. Senegal kind of was lacking that. Even though they had some chances, I think Sadio Mane would have made it happen. He would have been the guy to secure the bag. Yeah, but for me, Netherlands, man, like, I'm not going to lie. For the expectation that I had of them, I was really disappointed with the way that they played. But I was saying to Brett before the show, Liam, I remember watching one Euro when Spain was on their, the rise, and, they were the hottest team in Europe, and they played such shit. They played like shit in the group stages.
Yeah.
And they went on to win the entire Euro. So, like we talk about peaking on this show, it's okay to have that first group game and it not be stellar, but I hope that the Netherlands can kind of get it together, because I was disappointed as a whole by their performance.
Yeah, I was too. I did like some things. Like, I liked that they were able to at least create the chances.
Yeah.
I was more worried about them just simply not scoring on them. That was the biggest thing for me. Senegal, I didn't really know what to expect. I expected more, I think, from guys like Mendy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, I thought Koulibaly did okay. Like I said, he was honestly the best player on the pitch. I don't think that's unreasonable to say. And yeah, like, I'm expecting more from Netherlands. They do get to play Qatar here pretty quick, so that should turn things around for them. Their scoring habits will probably get a little bit better. And
confidence will go.
yeah, so they have Ecuador next, right? Yeah, they must, because Senegal and Ecuador is the last game. So it's a crucial point. Sorry. That's what I was thinking when it was 0-0. It would have been a crucial point for Senegal, but now they're down. So,
Yeah.
But this is almost like a penciled-in loss, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of saw it come in even before Mane. Like, Netherlands is the strongest team in the group. They weren't good. They walked away with 3 points. They're going to be okay with it.
That's exactly it. At the end of the day, it wasn't. We were just talking about what I said about Mourinho and how he played with a certain team. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done, and they still managed to score 2 goals against, I would say, a good Senegal team with a rowdy crowd. Like, there was a lot of Senegal fans out there really enjoying the moment. So you know that atmosphere might have been a little intimidating for the Netherlands, and they managed to score 2 goals. That's not easy in any game, let alone a World Cup stage. So I do agree with you, Liam. There were good moments, but I think Caroline, from like my young years loving the Netherlands, I was like, I really expected them to be much better, to be quite honest. But maybe we're having a different conversation when they make it out of the group stage. Maybe these are just games that they have to get off their back.
Yeah, exactly. The fans were all really good today. Now that you mentioned it, I thought all 3 games had a really good support. Worst one was probably yesterday. I like not to be rude, but the atmosphere definitely picked up on day 2. I think it was a very exciting day overall. And tomorrow we have 4 games. I'll probably catch 3 of them and record the 4th one. And yeah, I'm excited. It's been a really good start. The Netherlands-Senegal was easily the most... I guess the US-Wales. I think the last 2 games were just very balanced.
Yeah.
Very balanced. And it's good to see. That's what you want in the World Cup. You want to see these teams. Like, what did we get today? So we got Europe versus Asia. We got Europe versus Africa, and then we got Europe versus North America.
Yeah.
And we got Asia versus South America.
Yeah.
That's what you want in the World Cup. You want to see these different styles. A bit like the UFC, where you get...
With the lit, yeah.
yeah.
It kind of is.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully they don't play Uruguay. We'll be getting some headbutts, some kicks.
Imagine Nunes headbutts Delit. Delit's taking out his legs. Oh, my God. That'd be
entertaining.
It's a pay-per-view.
Yeah. Suarez still on the team. Holy moly.
Suarez is someone I would not mess with.
No.
Okay, let's get in predictions for tomorrow, powered by our good friends at CoolBet Canada. So tomorrow we have Argentina, Saudi Arabia. We have Denmark, Tunisia, Mexico, Poland, and France and Australia. So I'll say Argentina, Saudi Arabia. I mean, for me, obviously, I would say a win. Maybe like a comfortable 3 or 4-0 win for Argentina. Denmark, Tunisia, 2-0 Denmark. Mexico, Poland. Please, football gods. 2-1 Poland. Because honestly, it's going to be a scary game. No matter what Poland plays, it's going to be a scary game. And France and Australia, I'm going to say, I don't know. Let's do a 2-1 game for France and Australia for France. Andrew Redmayne, shout out. Probably won't play, but I like his attitude.
So sorry, you said 2-1 France over
Yeah.
Australia? Okay. Brett, you go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go. It's going to be an easy Argentinian win. I think I'm going to go at least 4-0.
Yeah.
4-0 I'll go for sure. Denmark and Tunisia I think is going to be closer than we expect. Tunisia has a good defense, I think. So I'm going to go a 1-0 Denmark W.
Okay.
Unf-
It's okay. Do it to me, Brett. It's
No,
okay. It's okay. I'm tough.
I'm going to cop out. I'm going to do 2-2 because I do have Mexico coming out of the group, but I think Poland I think is a good club. So I'm going to go 2-2. I think they're going to catch Mexico at some point. And I'm sorry, Australia. France is just going to be too good. I'm going 3-0.
Mbappe hat trick.
Mbappe.
Absolutely could happen.
All right. So I'm going to go Argentina 5-0.
Nice.
That also plays into my cool bet pick of the game. So I'm going to ask you guys this question, and you can let me know. So you can either go with a total of 3.5 goals over, which is plus 158. So that means if I put $10 on it, I'll win $15.80. Or I can go a little riskier and go with Argentina to score over 3 goals themselves, which I did just say it would be 5-0, so I should probably go for this one. But that's plus 174. So if I put $10 in it, I get $17.40.
Over 3 goals.
Over 3 goals for Argentina?
Yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
that will be our pick of the game for that one. And then we'll move on to Denmark. Where is it? Denmark, I have a little bit more faith in them than maybe you do, Brett. I think it'll be a comfortable win for them. I'm only going to go 1 extra goal, which is 2-0. So I'm going to go 2-0. If you want to place a bet on this one, Denmark a minus 167 on the, I don't know what they call it in football, actually. I would just guess the money line. Sometimes these different sports have weird ones. It's very complicated. Just call it all the same. So if you want to do that, it's not a great payout, but you're probably guaranteed a bit of money there. Then also, France, Australia. I'm probably not going to put any money on this because France are way too high a favorites at minus 345. But I'm just going to put France, comfortable win. Probably 3 or 4-0. If you want to bet on that, the goal total is minus 133, 2.5 for both teams. And then also, what was the one I missed?
Mexico, Poland.
Where is it? I did have it, and I'm going to take Poland.
Yay!
There was something on here. I don't have my laptop, but we got this thing playing, so I won't play it up. But I was going to bet Poland on the money line, which I believe was like plus 210. Something like that. So you put $10 on, you win $21.
Nice.
So it's good. I feel like it's a very even game. It could go either way. Wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw. But I'm gonna go with Poland.
I hope we don't disappoint you, Liam.
That's okay. I think I'll win my money back on Argentina. So.
Honestly,
Yeah,
you will.
yeah.
You will.
So there you go. That's the cool bets of the day, powered by Cool Bets.
Yes. I love it. And you guys let us know too. Tweet us, put in the comment section on YouTube. Let us know what you think, because obviously we want you guys to be a part of the conversation. So much is going on.
Yeah.
If you think my 2-1 France-Australia take is crazy, you let me know.
Is there one player tomorrow in any of the games? We'll just do this quickly.
Okay.
That you think will score a goal, and I'll tell you where they're at on this, and we'll see if it's kind of worth looking at. We'll just do a couple. Just name one player.
I do think Mbappe will score tomorrow.
Mbappe. So he's
Yeah.
minus 133 as the favorite to score for France. So you not fantastic payout. I don't know how to load it up.
Okay, Lewandowski.
Lewandowski. I don't have the Poland one.
Damn.
I don't know where it is, but I would imagine just the way this is kind of trajecting, he'd be the favorite to score. Mm-hmm. So basically what it means when it's not on is they're adjusting some stuff.
If you had the Poland spread up, I'd say Piontek, because he's the guy who scored in their World Cup warm-up game, and he's the guy who played for AC Milan, who is a machine. And if he plays, he's like a natural goal scorer.
Yeah, I know.
Krzysztof Piontek.
Let's see if I can search it quickly, if I can find... Oh, there it is. Poland. Boom, boom. This app is actually very easy to use. Oh, the website I'm on right now. So there it is. Poland to win is plus 241.
Okay.
And to score player goals, Lewandowski is the favorite, but plus 185, which is very interesting. I know he doesn't have a great track record of these tournaments, so basically if you put $10 on that one, you would win $18.50. Not bad.
For who?
for Lewandowski.
Oh,
So that's a good one. And
I love
then
that.
the gentleman you said,
Piontek.
Piontek.
P-I-A-T-E-K.
Oh, he's
Welcome
not
to
even on the
Polish
list.
sausage. No way. He has to be.
I don't see him.
Maybe no. He had to make the World Cup roster. It's okay.
There you go. Coolbet, powered by Coolbet.
All right, guys. Let us know your World Cup predictions. We're back tomorrow online. So yeah, we'll see you guys then and get lots of rest because for some of us, it's a 2:30 a.m. wake up call.
Cut.